everyone, welcome to the webinar tonight. This is Justin Harrison. Good to be with you yet again on this Education Week journey. Just a question of curiosity before we get started, since tonight is kind of the part 2 following last night. How many of you on the webinar tonight on the live session were also on last night? If you would find the hand icon and raise your hand for me. I'd like to see how many of you were on last night as well. So a good number of you. Excellent. Okay. All right, we'll put your hands down. Thank you. So as with last night, we're going to follow the same format. Yesterday we focused on retail, fast start, and the power of 3. And as we're chatting about the bonuses tonight, which we're going to talk about the Unilevel and the leadership pools, and then I'm going to pull out something that I haven't used or shown in a long time, but it's really powerful at illustrating the power and potential of the Unilevel structure. And we're going to play with that at the end of class today, just to show an example. But as with last night, if you have a question when we're talking about a subject, go ahead and text it in the question box, and we'll do our best to cover as many as we can. We probably will answer most of them just in the normal course of the class. However, we'll try and cover as many as we can in the few minutes we have together. So yesterday we talked about the fun money, or the upfront money, if you will. And today we're going to zero in and focus on the Unilevel residual income. This is your long-term income. And in the beginning, this starts out as very little of your commission check. Very, very little. So once someone passes the 60-day marker, they've been enrolled. So if you enroll someone for the first 60 days, as you recall from last night, you are paid on them in the Fast Start program, the 20%, 10%, and 5%. After the 60-day window, they transfer to this Unilevel structure that you see here. Now, let's just mention a couple things about this, some terms. First off, we need to understand what PV stands for. It is personal volume. It is all personal, preferred member, and customer orders that you have. So it's your own order, any preferred members that you may have, and any customers that you may have ordering as well, all add to that preferred member total, or I'm sorry, that PV total. The OV is an easy one to explain. It's just everyone and your whole entire organization, your whole team. It's the combined total of all sales throughout your entire team. Now, as you look at this whole Unilevel structure, let me just point out how the monthly PV requirement starts at 50 for consultants and then becomes 100 and stays there all the way through to Presidential Diamond. And then you see that the OV requirement stops at the premier level at 5,000, and then after that there's no longer an OV requirement because the focus shifts to being that of different leg structures within your team, and we're going to illustrate these here in a second. But what I want to point out is that level 1 through 7. What I really appreciate about how doTERRA did this, and by the way, just some insider commentary here. I was fortunate enough to be part of that formulation stage of this commission structure in the very, very early days before we launched doTERRA, and we examined and researched many commission structures from a lot of different companies, what was working, what wasn't working, what was tried and true versus what was a little bit maybe exciting but not proven. And we chose to go with the Unilevel structure because it's not new. It's been around for a long time. It's proven to be very, very solid and works extremely well and really does reward for maximum teamwork. Now, what I love about this Unilevel program, you'll notice that the numbers start out as a 2% on level 1, and then they increase 3, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7 down at level 7. Now, few people get excited about 2% on your front line, and that's a good thing actually, because most compensation structures out there in our profession put the big number on top And then the numbers get littler and littler and littler as you increase in depth. Well, what happens as your team grows, where's all the volume at? Where's all the sales? You can see here that to get all the way to Presidential Diamond, you need 6 teams. And so you need 6 people on your front line minimum to make that happen. So whether that's a 2% or whether it's a 20%, it really doesn't matter a whole lot because it's only a few people. However, that 7% on level 7 is extraordinary when you look at the fact that your team will grow and develop and have a pretty significant number of people there on level 7. So here's an example of how it would work. Someone purchases a doTERRA product, and thank heavens for supercomputers. The computer is going to look at that purchase and say, I've got to pay 2% to someone. Who is it? And it's going to pay that 2%. And then it's going to say, okay, now I've got to pay 3%. Who is it? And now 5, 5, 6, 6, and 7. So it's going to pay all those percentages to somebody. Now, this structure, this Unilevel structure, features a huge benefit to you and I. It's called dynamic compression. We actually have standard compression and dynamic compression. And all it really means is this, without getting into the very hairy, nitty-gritty details that maybe aren't needed at this point. All it really means is this. Every single percentage that you see here is paid to somebody. And that's generous of the company because a lot of corporations in our profession have what's called breakage, and if a percentage isn't being paid, they just keep it. Well, with our Unilevel structure, it's all paid to someone. And so oftentimes you might look into your virtual office, into the commission summary, and see that maybe you're getting paid on someone on your 10th level or even your 20th level, and you're thinking, well, that's not right. This is only a 7-level payout. Well, a computer excludes people from those 7 levels that haven't met their $50 or 50 PV qualification for one thing, and then it also dynamically compresses all of those sales throughout the whole structure. And so what it all means is this. It allows you and I to get paid significantly more than on just 7 levels. And so it is very, very exciting. Now, our Presidential Diamond tip is to focus on first becoming an elite yourself, and then creating elites. So what is an elite? An elite is 3,000 in OV, so 3,000 in sales in your entire team, including everyone. So 3,000 including everybody, and once that happens, then that makes you the elite rank. Now, elites are really the foundation for everything we're talking about here tonight, because once you become an elite, then your focus changes on helping others to become an elite, and you want to identify three team members that can work to become elite, and that will make you a silver. Now, by no coincidence, those 3 people are probably the same 3 that you're building your Power of 3 structure bonus that we talked about last night. That is a very intentional, calculated, strategic part of this commission plan. So focus on elites, because doing so will create silvers. And once you become silver yourself, you want to continue to focus on helping those same 3 elites, plus we're going to look for 1 more person so that we have 4. And when we have 4 silvers, then we have diamonds. And diamonds are everything. Diamonds are where the real fun money starts, right? You want to work to achieve the rank of diamond, because at diamond a few fun things happen. First, you get to jump into some pools, some bonuses that we're going to talk about here in a second. There we go. Okay, let's talk about the leadership pools. Actually, let me go back. Sorry. I want to make sure and address any questions on the Unilevel as we're talking about Unilevel before we move to the bonus pools. So let me just, I can see that some have been texted in. So Ava, your question, yes, the computer looks for those who did 50 PV, not just 100. So it compresses up at 50. So if they're below 50, then it compresses up into the next level. What's important to know is that the volume, all of the sales do push up. You see that dynamic compression arrows there on the bottom of the screen. Everything compresses up to the first qualified folks in the team. And so that's what allows you to oftentimes get paid much, much deeper than just the 7 levels. And so it is a pretty, what's the word I'm looking for? It is a massive strength in our commission plan. And so it is very, very important. Now, you do have to maintain 100 PV really to earn any commission yourself, right? And you can see that by your monthly PV minimum, excluding consultant. All the other ranks you need to be at least 100. Okay, so you want to keep that in mind as well. Okay, we will come back, if we have time at the end, we'll come back to any other questions on Unilevel. Let's jump to the leadership pools. These are kind of fun just because you get to have a portion, you get to share in a portion of the entire company every single month. So if you're a silver, gold, or platinum rank, every month the company takes 2% of global sales and splits it between everyone that's a silver or a gold or a platinum. So how that works, if you're a silver, you get 1 share of that 2%. If you're a gold, you get 5, and if you're a platinum, you get 10. So you can see that your whatever that share value is, and it differs every month. It has an average of about $150. So if you're a silver, you're getting 1 share, so about 150. If you're gold, you're getting 5 of those, and if you're platinum, you're getting 10. So it's a nice little addition to your check. Plus, you see those 1 pluses there. What those mean is that any month that you as a silver, gold, or platinum have someone that you've personally enrolled that hits elite for the first time, then you get an extra share of the pool. Okay, so you get an extra little bonus for helping them achieve that elite rank. So that's how the 2% works for silvers, golds, and platinums. Now for diamonds at 4%, 4% of the whole company is set aside for the diamonds. And it works similar to the silvers, except there's 1% set aside that is shared by all the diamonds, blues, and presidentials. So if you are a diamond, you get 1 share of that. If you're a blue, you get 2. If you're a presidential, you get 3. So of that 1%. Now where the really large money is, the gangsta money, is I've sometimes quoted for calling it, is in the individual diamond pools. So the diamonds here share 1% just with diamonds only. Blue diamonds here share 1% just with other blue diamonds only, and presidential diamonds also have their own 1% just for presidential diamonds. And so those 1% are significant, and the cash payout on those is very large because there's not a huge number of people in those pools. And even though we go adding people to the diamond, blue diamond, and presidential diamond pool, we had 3 new presidential diamonds just last month. I think that was probably the most ever in 1 month. Even though we're adding people to the pools, in order to add people to the pools have to get bigger just by the natural growth of the company. And so these end up being a very significant amount of money. And by the way, you see all those 1 pluses on there. For diamonds and blue diamonds, you can earn an extra share of those pools by having a personally enrolled first-time premier achieve that rank that month. And for presidential diamonds, the rank of silver. So a first-time silver achieving that month will add an extra share to that pool as well. So this is, what I love about this is it allows us to have benefit worldwide. So it creates a real community spirit. It's not my team, his team, her team. It's one team, all of us working together to be able to advance the purpose and cause of doTERRA, which is having a healer in every home. And so this allows us to be compensated regardless of whose team you're in by sharing in the revenue overall of the company worldwide. And so pretty exciting. Let's cover the averages. A bunch of you are asking about the averages. So let me jump in here and just talk about what that means. So we're going to zoom out and look at the potential. Now this is based on the averages for 2013 throughout the course of the year. And you can see that on average a Premier made, this is monthly by the way, not annually, this is monthly. I probably should put that on the slide. Monthly earnings, Premier was 800, Silver was just over 2,000 is the average monthly earning for. So this is a great supplemental income, guys. You know, I look at teachers in the state of Utah starting out make that much a month, and which is crazy to me, but what an amazing supplemental income to help meet the needs of the family. When you advance to gold, and now you're just almost 5,000, do you see a little bit of a pattern here already kind of forming? When we go to platinum, from gold to platinum, again almost double, close to 9,000. So what would you think diamond would be at the next rank, right? Logically looking at the increase here. So the next rank is almost 17,000. So again, doubling from platinum to diamond. And diamond, you're starting to get into those bigger bonus pools, and you'll really see that here when you look at blue diamond. And blue diamond kind of bucks the trend a little bit. It doesn't double from diamond, it triples from diamond. And so pretty significant jump there. And then presidential diamond, again, almost tripling, not quite, but way more than double of the blue diamond. And so those are the average monthly earnings in 2013 of each of those individual ranks. Now what I want to point out about these numbers is that they're real. I know people personally, many people, earning these kind of incomes and even more. And the only difference between those people and maybe the brand new person on the webinar tonight that just got started is time and effort. That really is the only difference. We've been doing this consistently for a longer period of time than you have. And so if you commit to that consistent and persistent endeavor, then absolutely you have the potential to be earning these kind of income levels as well. In fact, let me just bring over this little spreadsheet. This is kind of fun to look at. So we'll bring this over. This is just an Excel spreadsheet. There we go. I'll have that come up on your screens. So this is kind of fun to play with. We built this in the early days of doTERRA to illustrate the potential. So this is called the Unilevel Bonus Calculator. So over here in the yellow boxes, you can see that if we were building our 3x3 bonus, and so 3 people that have 3 people that have 3 people and so on, and we realize that it's never going to be perfect like that. Some are going to have 4, some are going to have 10, some are going to have none. So we realize that, but let's just say an average of 3, and let's say we have 50% retention. Now we all know our retention is much higher than that. It's closer to 70. But we're going to lower it down to 50% just for easy math. And let's say that we're doing our 100 PV only per month. And watch what happens. So you see here, here's you at the top, and then levels 1 through 7. So as your team builds out, you see here that if you have 3, that then have 3, that then have 3, everyone at 50%, so only half of them are ordering, then you are already at over a $10,000 a month income. And so it becomes pretty significant. Most people, this is kind of a sweet spot for people. I've discovered that $10,000 a month income for a lot of people is kind of hard to imagine. And so when we talk about making 10 grand a month or even an extra 10 grand a month on top of what you're already doing, it really can be life-changing. Now, I'm going to play with the numbers a little bit, maybe just kind of freak you out somewhat. So our average order size is really closer to about 135. So let's change it to that. You know, we got a lot of people taking advantage of the free product from the company, right? The product of the month. So they got to be doing their 125 PV order. I would guess that many of you on the webinar do way more than 135. I know I do. So the average is right in there, and let's put our retention rate back up where it should be, at close to 70%. And look at where we're at income-wise on a monthly and then both annually as well. So that's with 70% retention, only building with 3 legs. okay, with 3 people. So the highest rank you could ever get with 3 legs is platinum. You have to have 4 legs to go on to diamond. So what if we were to change this to 4? Actually, before we do that, let's just change this back to 100. And let's change the retention rate back to 50. Okay, so we're going back to where we were. All right, and now we focus on 3 a lot, but we always teach, you need 3, have 4. So when we move it to 4, watch what happens to the numbers. Do you see how life-changing that is? When it's the power of exponential growth, it's the power of compounding. So when we focus on 4 and all at 100 PV and 50% retention, a couple of you have asked, what does retention mean? It means that only half of the team ordered. And so it's a 50% retention rate because only 1 out of 2 placed an order. So, but look at that number, 73,000 monthly if you're building a team 4 by 4 by 4. So let's now come back to, just for fun, we're gonna put this at watch this. We're gonna put this at 10% retention, which obviously is pathetically awful and nowhere near where we actually are. And let's change the monthly order to only $50. Okay, so the average order is 50. Again, way, way, way low from reality. And 10% retention, which is nowhere near reality. That is the real number for many companies in our profession. But because of our amazing product, our retention is 6 to 7 times higher. And let's say we're building 6, right? Because we need 6 to reach the very top of the pay chart, right, at Presidential Diamond. So if we're building 6 by 6 by 6 at 50 PV and only 10% of these people actually ordering, watch this number. This might kind of freak you out just a little bit. That's $114,000 a month. Now, if you budgeted, could you live on $114,000 a month? Oh, and by the way, this does not include any other bonuses or commissions from doTERRA, not the bonus pools, not the fast start, not the power of 3. This is only the Unilevel. This is your long-term residual income. This is the gangster money that we talk about. And so this is identifying 3 to 6 people that are going to work with you on your front line that we can then go to work building their teams. And this takes time, guys. This does not build out overnight. This is a long-term deal. This takes years to develop and fill in. And when you talk to people now that have been with doTERRA, even for a couple years, ask them what part of their business, what part of their check is the biggest. And they'll all tell you it's the Unilevel. Right? The Unilevel is by far bigger than any other aspect of your check as it grows and your team becomes large. Now, in the beginning, when your team is very tiny, then your Unilevel is very tiny. And so don't be discouraged in that. Just understand that that's why the fast start and the power of 3 exist, for that upfront money, if you will, to kind of keep things moving along until the Unilevel kicks in. So I want to just go back to a more realistic number here. Okay, 3 by 3. What happens if we do 6 by 6 with our actual average order of about 130, 70% retention? Pretty crazy numbers, okay? Pretty crazy numbers. So again, this is just to show the power of compounding, the power of exponential growth, but it shows the potential of the Unilevel structure, which is why we chose to use a Unilevel structure, because it has been proven over decades of use that it works and that it works well. And so, okay, let me jump back to, okay, a lot of you are asking if you have access to this sheet. It It should be available in the download section on oilsmentor.com. I haven't checked it since we made the migration over to that website. So if it isn't, I'll have Krista put it up there so that you can download that. So we'll make sure that's up there by early next week for sure. Leanne, I don't actually have the averages for the bonus pools for the other ranks. I know for Presidential Diamond, the average in recent months has been right around, and so what we're talking about here is the Presidential Diamond, this 1%, that 3 shares of that 1% has been worth about $35,000 to $40,000 a month in recent months, and it is a little different each month, and so just based on the volume of the company and the number of people in the pool per se. Okay. Great question. Is it better to build towards the 250 and 1500 power of 3 bonus or Unilevel? Build power of 3 bonus. We talked about that last night. This was a huge realization that I had because a lot of people were focused on building the Unilevel, and on average, to be making $1,500 a month on the Unilevel, you have to have about $30,000 in monthly sales to make that $1,500. Now, when you do the math on the Power of 3 bonus to make the $1,500, you can pull that off for about $6,000 in monthly sales. So it's the same payout, but what's going to be easier, 6,000 in sales or 30,000 in sales? Is kind of an IQ test question right there. And so focus on the Power of 3. The beauty is you earn both, right? You get paid both. Focus on the Power of 3. The Unilevel will build at the same time that you're focusing on that. Some of you are asking about how do I get committed builders? How do I build their structure? When I just have product users, how do I get my spouse involved? All of those are really good questions. It's interesting. People have to be ready. People have to be, their window of opportunity, their woo, everybody has a woo, their window of opportunity has to be open. It's interesting because, here, I need to look you in the eye. So if their window of opportunity is open to the business, most people are open to the product initially, but if their window of opportunity is open to the business, then they will be attentive to the potential of going out and doing more than just sharing, but actually transitioning into being what we would term a builder or a business partner. And how you know someone is ready for that step is when they're naturally already sharing the product and they may not even realize it. Just point it out to them. Make sure that they know or that they see and realize they're already doing the business by sharing the oils with people. Now let's look at the income potential of supplementing, maybe just getting their product for free. Most people are thrilled to be able to place their order when they know that there's a check coming that more than pays for that order. They'll never stop ordering ever, right? Because they're getting the product for free. So most husbands get involved when they start to see the change, because usually this is a women's business. We all recognize that. 80% of our membership is women, and we know that. Go to any convention, you can see that in the room, right? Husbands typically are a little more stubborn at first, a little more skeptical maybe, and as they see the income grow that the wife has built just from sharing, that's usually when the husband starts to come around and say, okay, how does this work? And want to figure out a little bit more. And that's a pretty typical. It takes time for some. Get oils on them, help them to use the product. Remember that the whole key to this business, guys, this is not get rich quick. In fact, it's probably the opposite. It's probably more like get rich slow. It is very much a foundation that has to be built. You own this. This is yours. You can sell it. You can will it to your children. This is your business, guys. Treat it like a business. If you treat it like a business, you get the results of a business. And the results of a business in this business of networking is exactly what you want. And so don't be too concerned or overwhelmed if you don't quite totally grasp all of the numbers and all of the commissions and exactly how does this work. I know people in our company that have made over $10,000 a month before they figured out any of this. I think I would have really been zeroed in on studying that at a much earlier level, but it wasn't a huge priority for them. So as long as you continue to share, continue to provide solutions, your business will grow naturally, organically, and have a really solid foundation, and will be there for your children and their children and their children. And so, guys, we're just getting started. The immense potential of this business, it baffles me. We're going to reach $1 billion status as a company, probably by the end of this year, if not just after that. And that's going to happen whether Justin's here or not, or whether you're here or not, that's going to happen. So I suggest that it happen with you, and that it happen with me, and that it happens with us together versus us just watching from the sidelines. And so my encouragement to you would be get off the bench, get in the game. Thanks for being on the webinar tonight. And we will look forward to see. We have one final webinar in Education Week tomorrow at noon. And then we will close out Education Week, and we'll probably do this again. It was kind of fun. So thanks, everybody. Have an awesome night.